morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on After GMS. It is 7:45 on Thursday, June 18th. Starting to feel a little bit more like June outside right now. Ed Matthews, I think you can attest, the weather started off really nice this morning. No rain yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, but I am seeing some on radar, Tracy, and this has really popped up over the past couple of hours. It was a band of showers to the west of Charlotte, and it's headed our way. It's light green on the radar, so it would produce nothing more than sprinkles or maybe an isolated shower as it moves through the Triad between now and about noon. But there will be a better chance of scattered showers and even a few thunderstorms as we head through the afternoon. Sunshine, if we get any, is going to be pretty limited, really. We'll shoot for the mid. If we get enough sunshine, maybe a few spots, some upper 70s today. And we'll keep a respectable chance of those mainly afternoon and evening showers and storms in, not only today, but tomorrow and Saturday as well. We get this daytime heating, we get back into the 80s, and that heat energy will be enough to get some scattered storms going in the afternoon and evening. Right now, we'll go with a generally dry Father's Day. There still could be a pop-up storm, but a low chance. And look at this. How about upper 80s, not only on Sunday, but the first part of next week with just only pop-up storms in the afternoon and evening, only a 30 to 40% chance. But those temperatures back to June. It's going to be in the upper 80s across the Piedmont.
All right, it's 7:47. Let's get started with a look at your morning headlines this morning. North Carolina cities are choosing whether to make mask wearing mandatory. As of this weekend, face coverings are mandatory in Boone, up in the mountains. Anyone in public indoor spaces will need one, and law enforcement will start issuing fines to people who are not wearing masks after these first 3 weeks. The city of Raleigh is requiring masks starting tomorrow, June 19th at 4 p.m. You'll need to wear a mask in stores, parking lots, and sidewalks, as well as public transit. There are no fines for no compliance there, at least not yet. As for Winston-Salem and Greensboro, both of those cities are talking about mask policies, but so far have not made decisions. Well, Governor Roy Cooper and the state COVID-19 task force will share their latest report and analysis today at 2. But before then, we'll be getting a look at the new numbers from the state health department. The governor says he'll make a decision early next week about reopening more of North Carolina. He'll tell us if we'll enter phase 3 or stay in phase 2 a bit longer. He says it's all based on those data trends. So let's look at some of them now. Our state's testing curve continues to hold steady around 8%, but we've seen more than 46,000 North Carolinians have contracted the virus, including recoveries. Hospitalizations also reached a new high yesterday with 846 at last check. Now that you know the latest report, do you think North Carolina is ready to enter phase 3, which could allow entertainment venues, gyms, and bars to reopen? I'm looking at some of the comments coming in here. Cynthia says cases are still going up in phase 2. It could be a lot worse in phase 3. Ronnie says he believes we're ready, and he's ready and waiting for it. Tracy and Ed, a lot to discuss here, a lot to weigh in. Of course, data does speak volumes, and we've been seeing those trends, some good and some bad, over the past several weeks.
I think it's going to be rather interesting to see which way the governor goes in his decision to move into phase 3, given the data that we're getting on a daily basis, where we're seeing the increase in cases here in North Carolina. I would like to see gyms and bars open again, but I just don't know if he's going to approve that. I don't know if we're ready.
I was just reading Sam's comment here. He said, nope, phase 1 will probably be reintroduced because of the new case amount. And, you know, Governor Cooper already hinting that he might take some action and, you know, requiring people mandatorily to wear masks. So I'm with you, Ed. I don't know what he's going to do. I have no idea. And to be honest with you, regardless if we move into phase 3 or go back to phase 1, as Sam mentioned or thinks, I don't think my life is going to change much, because I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing until this is over. You know, it's just kind of, now I'm in my new habit. I'm in my new way about life, and you know, I like staying home and having my kids near me, and that's just how we do it. Doesn't mean that everybody else isn't, their opinions don't matter and that they shouldn't be able to do the things that they want to do. But I just know personally, you know, things are good right now. So Megan, were you going to say something?
Yeah, so I think there's some confusion too about all the dates that have been floating around for phase 3 and when what can reopen. So initially, the phase 3 laid out in this initial phase 3 or 3-part plan said June 26th was when, if the data supported a reopening, phase 3 could begin. So that would be next Friday, I believe, Ed's birthday, June 26th. However, there's currently a piece of legislation sitting on Governor Roy Cooper's desk. It was passed by both the North Carolina House and Senate that would allow bars and gyms to reopen as soon as this weekend. So we could see some of this phase 3 reopening happen before an actual phase 3. So that's important to remember as we talk about this. Yeah, we are seeing hospitalizations go up. Yesterday, they hit their highest since this pandemic started, since we started keeping track of this data. But the trend as far as positive cases has remained pretty consistent. About 8% of daily tests now are coming back positive.
All right, so I mean, you look at the numbers every day, Megan. I certainly, you know, will report on them as well. And the data is what the governor is going to make his decision on. I know he has a group of people with him who talk about this daily. He is giving another update today at 2 o'clock. I think it changes so much that, you know, you can't predict what is going to happen next week based on what's happening today. But it is interesting to note that over the last few days, there are a number of hospitalizations, more than we've seen as of late, and he'll probably take that into consideration. Now, do I want to be the one to get on TV and tell people that we are not moving into another phase? I'll let the governor do that if that's what he decides to do. Because, yeah, that's not going to happen over here. But, you know, it is worth the conversation, and a lot of people are kind of both right here. Because Tina Remington says, open the state. If people want to stay home, they can. Stephanie Wade said, no, we're not ready. So there are so many different opinions, and we'll just have to kind of wait and see. But it is good to talk about and just kind of get it out there. All right, so it looks like I'll go ahead and move forward here as we talk about online scammers, especially related to the coronavirus pandemic. Let's get to WFMY News' Candace Red. She's talking more about internet safety and what you need to know.
Internet crime, internet scams is a problem nationwide, especially during the coronavirus pandemic. Now, according to the FBI's 2019 Internet Crime Report, the FBI received 467,361 complaints, again, just last year. Now, that's an average of nearly 1,300 complaints every single day. Well, some of the most commonly reported scams include fake accounts created on websites without permission, fake contests and giveaways, phishing emails, and ad-driven phone apps. Well, tech experts suggest managing online privacy by reading privacy policies and understanding privacy settings. You should also avoid sharing personal information online, practice safe browsing, be careful downloading certain programs, and keep antivirus up to date. Well, Bryce Porter is the Chief Information Security Officer at UNC Greensboro, and he says good internet hygiene also involves creating secure passwords for your accounts.
It's really important that you keep good, what's called internet hygiene, which means using good passwords, good, solid, complex passwords, making sure you don't use the same password on every account, and, you know, really taking care to preserve the anonymity of your account. So don't post your account details anywhere. Don't share it with other people.
When it comes to cybersecurity, children unfortunately easy fall victim to internet crime and internet scams. And for that reason, experts suggest teaching your child about suspicious activity online. Well, for more details about this, all you have to do is visit our website. That's WFMYnews2.com. There you can find everything you need to know about National Internet Safety Month, as well as how to report internet crimes and scams.
In your national headlines this morning, prosecutors in Atlanta say the 2 police officers involved in a deadly shooting of a black man outside of a Wendy's will face charges. Rashard Brooks was shot during an arrest for suspicion of DUI. Prosecutors reviewed 8 videos from the shooting before bringing charges. Former officer Garrett Rolfe faces 11 charges, including felony murder. Officer Devin faces 3 charges. I believe his last name is Bronson, but it's not here included in the script. But I'm going to go on a limb here and say it's Devin Bronson, or Brett Bronson. He faces 3 charges, including assault, and is now cooperating as the state's witness. Netflix announced a big donation to historically black colleges. The streaming service's CEO, Reed Hastings, is donating $120 million towards student scholarships. Netflix's CEO said since his donation comes at a time when people are looking for ways to, quote, solve racism, he says supporting education at HBCUs is one way to do that. Greensboro City Council approved $250,000 for damaged businesses. Now they have to decide how the money will be divvied up. Downtown Greensboro Incorporated says it started the process by sending out emails to impacted businesses. DGI says they will likely spend the next month or so figuring out which businesses need the help and how much money each will receive. They also plan to hire a new staff member to look at all the businesses downtown, their insurance claims, and the police reports.
Well, earlier we talked a lot about face masks and requirements now in certain North Carolina cities to wear one. Today you can get a free mask in Greensboro. The Greensboro Transit Authority is handing them out for free to riders at the Depot Transfer Center on East Washington Street downtown. The giveaway is from 5 to 7 tonight. Last week, GTA handed out 800 free masks. How would you like to play catch at the BB&T ballpark where the Dash play in Winston-Salem? The Dash is hosting a Play Catch on the Field event Saturday, June 27th. Players can sign up for 1-hour time slots at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 5 p.m., or 6 p.m. It is free, but you do have to sign up in advance by contacting Ayla Acosta at the email address on your screen. You'll be encouraged, if you participate, to bring your own gloves and baseballs, but the Dash will hand out, baseballs and sanitize them between uses. So I think you have to bring your own gloves and bats, to be clear. And then, yes, Dash will provide baseballs and sanitize them. Just want to make sure we got that straight.
All right, so we're still kind of holding out to see what happens with baseball season. Football season, a whole nother story, because that's supposed to start in August, September. So let's talk about some controversy here. A recent tweet by the Carolina Panthers has just over 1,300 comments, and some are saying it's throwing a little shade at Cam Newton, their former QB. So the caption reads, "Choose your greatest of all time. You can pick from Julius Peppers, Steve Smith, or Luke Kuechly." Cam, the former MVP, took the Panthers, you remember, to the Super Bowl a few years back, and he is not on the list. Gail Jacobs wrote in saying, "No, he's not the best, not when you have QBs like Peyton Manning, John Elway, Joe Montana, Eli Manning, Bart Starr, etc." We're hearing from Caleb, who says, greatest player, easily top 5. Greatest player, I gotta say yes, just for the national attention he's brought to the team. I think Luke could still overtake him if he keeps a high profile. Andre says, no, the man was or is talented, but his arrogance is bigger. Just my opinion. And William Michael Jones says, in Panthers history, he is our greatest quarterback, period. All right, I don't have a tooth in this fight, a nail in the wood. I don't, because I only know like our current roster maybe for the last 3 years. I can't go back to the 80s or the 90s because I just didn't follow the team then. So I'm turning it to Ed Matthews.
You're going to lay it on me, huh?
Well,
okay. Well, now I tell you what, I have a comment for everything.
Okay.
I tell you what, I really enjoyed watching Cam Newton play. And yes, he had an extra dose of self-confidence. There's nothing wrong with that. I think he was an impeccable dresser as well. He knew fashion. He knows fashion. I just enjoyed him. I thought I believe, I will always believe that he loved playing for the Panthers. He loved winning, and I think he played his heart out every game. And I enjoyed him. I'm going to miss him. My 2 cents.
Yeah, I don't think he's been picked up by another team yet, has he?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, yeah. So, hopefully there's still some more football for him. I mean, he's still a young guy, so, for sure, he can play more. Megan, I'm not even going to assume what you might say because your husband is the #1 Panthers fan in the world. So you might have a little more perspective than I have.
Yeah, my husband would put Thomas Davis Sr. on this list. He loved him and was sad to see him leave the Panthers recently. I was a little surprised to see Cam Newton not on this list, but I guess it depends on how you define greatest. And for some people, that's subjective. I mean, do you look just at the football stats? And is it over your entire career or just the last couple of seasons with the Panthers? Do you look at the type of player they were as far as personality, community outreach? So how do you define greatest? I think that is maybe the problem here, and people are confused as to why Cam is not on this list if it's based on certain factors versus others. I would say one of the greatest players of all time is currently on the roster, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, do we have a better running back in the NFL? I'm not sure. You know, he, I think, is going to be one of those people we look back on and say, wow, he was a Panthers legend for sure.
Well, he's definitely making history already in his short career with the Panthers. I mean, he was just in college a few years ago, if you think about it. So he's already kind of, you know, charting his own success. I think where the Panthers kind of went wrong with this tweet, if they did at all, was that they only chose 3. Like, if they would have just said, you know, who do you think is the greatest Panthers player of all time, then people could have responded and just put in whatever. But when you only have 3, and then you're like, well, what makes them your 3 options? And then it kind of just limits, you know, people's imaginations or feelings. So I don't really think that, you know, people were, I mean, the Panthers were trying to throw shade at just Cam, because think about all the Panthers players in the past who have, you know, done great things, like Thomas Sr. III, and also the quarterback who led them to the Super Bowl the first time, which was Jake Delhomme.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there are, you know, a lot of different options that could have been given out. And so maybe we should just make the questions open-ended instead of like choose 1, 2, or 3. I don't know. That's just my thought. So we are getting some comments here, so I will start to look for them. Everybody's saying they're ready for football. Corey says he can't wait to take his dad to go see the Panthers. Ed Matthews saying he's ready for some football.
Oh, yeah.
Also, we have Sam who said they did Cam dirty. He was the face of the Panthers. They just want to keep his name quiet due to how they did him dirty at the end of the season. And I think they're talking, Sam is talking about how they went and decided not to renew him after his multiple surgeries. Oh, thank you, Sharika, telling me I look nice in my green dress. That's nice. Sam said, plus don't forget what Cam did for the community. Wendell says, Cam was the best QB the Panthers have had, based mostly on double threat ability. Unfortunately, it was also his downfall, leading to a lot more hits and a lot of wear and tear that affected his playing style and lessened his production. That's a great analysis. Lawrence Robbins said he is the greatest Panthers QB. I remember Jimmy Clausen and Chris Winkie days. Winkie. I was right the first time. So glad. And then, you know, just a lot of people, like Faye says, all the injuries football players sustain have to take a toll on their bodies. So she might think that that happened with Cam as well. So, you know, who is the best Panthers QB of all time? Maybe we could settle on, you know, one answer, but who's the best Panthers player? So many options, so many. All right, Ed Matthews. I've never heard you speechless before, so I guess that means it's time to go to weather.
Now, I was just thinking about what you were saying and totally agreeing, and I was thinking about that beautiful green dress. I'm going to have you to come out and stand in front of my green screen out here, and we'll be able to see the weather maps in her dress.
I'll try it.
Looking mighty fine. All right, speaking of green, we're seeing some of that on the radar this morning. Now, we got lots of clouds, a little patch of light green moving up from Charlotte and Gastonia. This is very light. It would produce sprinkles, maybe an isolated shower between now and noon. Sunshine today, I'm hoping for a few peaks, but it will be limited. We'll see if we can make it into the mid, enough sunshine, maybe some upper 70s, but we'll see more in the way of scattered showers and a few thunderstorms once we get some heating in the afternoon and evening hours. And speaking of that heat, we're going to increase it for you. We'll be up around 80 tomorrow, low 80s on Saturday, and each afternoon and evening we'll be on the lookout for a few showers and storms. Right now, Father's Day is looking generally hot and dry. There could be a pop-up shower, low chance. I think Dad's going to enjoy the day with upper 80s. And then as we head into next week, we'll just kind of see these random and very widely scattered or isolated pop-up storms in the afternoon, as it is definitely going to feel more like June. We'll be pretty close to 90 there on Monday, and looking at upper 80s there for Tuesday and Wednesday. So June temperatures are headed back to the Piedmont.
Yeah, in just a matter of days, we've gone from having the heat on to now pumping the AC.
Yeah.
Only in the Triad.
Yes. Yes.
Well, thanks so much for joining us here on After GMS. It's been a pleasure having these great conversations with you. Please check us back here tomorrow for Friday, guys.
Yay!
As we celebrate the end of the week and look forward to the weekend. All right, guys, take care, everybody, and be safe.